Hi guys, welcome to my April wrap-up. My name is Ashley and we're going to talk about the books I read in April. So I read 8 books in April. I did pretty well. That's kind of been an average lately. The only month that I've not read 8 books was February, so that's good. Most of them I did speak about in my gem vlog, however there's a few here that I didn't, and we're just going to go through them. So I read a total of 2,205 pages in April. Of the 8 books that I read, 5 of them I read physically, 2 were ebooks, and 5 of them were audiobooks. Now I do sometimes tandem read, so therefore, or immersion read, sorry, not tandem read, but I will usually have an audiobook going whilst I'm reading the book physically or on ebook, so that does kind of differ. That's why there's so many different random numbers there. The first one that I read was A Clown in the Cornfield by Adam Cesare. I'm going to put this down now. It's not the most clowny one, but it's a little bit clowny, so we're going to put it down. This was a 5-star. I really enjoyed this. This book had very much the vibes of 90s slasher. It gave me Scream vibes. It gave me Fear Street vibes. Very much that. For a YA, it was really dark, which I really appreciated. It was very gory, and it was just a lot of fun to do. So yeah, very fun, and I really enjoyed it. The next book, I don't know where I've put this book. I've put this book down somewhere and I don't know where it's gone. But the next book that I read was Vox Machina Stories Untold. This is a collection of short stories to do with the Vox Machina world. This is characters who fought alongside or against Vox Machina, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was such a nice, interesting way into looking into the people and the monsters that they have faced. It's really interesting to see those things from their perspectives. There was so many different types of storytelling, and because it was, each story was told from a different writer, it was so interesting to see like the differences in that storytelling aspect. I thoroughly enjoyed this. There was some really cute ones. There was some really sad ones. I started crying straight off from like the beginning when Liam O'Brien was talking about like storytelling and what it meant to him and all of this, and just fantastic. The audiobook is phenomenal. It's done by the entire cast and just absolutely spectacular. 10 out of 10, definitely recommend. The next book was in an ebook that I read, and that was We Used to Live Here. Now, for some reason, I didn't talk about this on my vlog very much, so I'm going to talk about this here. We Used to Live Here was a book that Jem was talking about previously, and I had heard about it and I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. So when I started to put together the vlog idea of reading things with Jem, like that Jem had really enjoyed, this was kind of on the top of my list, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. This book was so creepy and so brain melty. Genuinely, I didn't know where I was going with it. I didn't know what the author had plans for, and genuinely just such an incredible book. I really enjoyed this book. I do want to reread it at some point because I think I just sped through the end and I want to reread it properly and go, what the hell is going on? Absolutely phenomenal. Genuinely one of the better books I've read. I'm not a horror girly. I find horror really difficult to read, in the sense of I have a kind of block in my brain because of trauma from horror films when I was a kid. I got forced to watch a lot of them at a very young age when I was very scared. So I just tried, I somehow developed this thing where when I watch horror films now, I kind of like remove myself from the fear or something. I don't entirely know, but it does mean that because I do that thing with books, I don't connect to horror books very well. I find it really difficult to connect to a horror book the same way that I connect to like a horror film or a horror series or something like that. It takes a lot for a book to creep me out, and I think I'm starting to realize I do like the quiet horrors, the feeling of unsettling things over like body horror or anything like that. And We Used to Live Here was perfect for that. It's so beautifully done. It's so interesting. It's so delicate. You sit there from the beginning going, no, 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 I do not like this. And genuinely, you just kind of like the unease builds and builds and builds. And it's just absolutely spectacular. Such a good book. I cannot recommend it enough. The next book that I read was In Deeper Waters, again for the Gem vlog. This copy was lent to me by the lovely... Here's the thing, guys. You may be hearing some odd noises. Someone is clearly doing work outside and I keep on trying to like pause and it's getting on my nerves now. So if you can hear work outside, I do apologise. I don't know what they're doing. Some guy has scaffolding up. So I apologise if you can hear that in the background. But this is In Deeper Waters. I got to borrow this from Becca. This was really, really cute. I really enjoyed it. I think it's on the lower side of a 5-star. Just because I took a really long break between starting it and finishing it, for good reason, However, I just didn't connect as well. I do want to read more F.T. Lukens, just because what I have read, I really, really enjoyed. And yeah, I want to read more from them. This was also a 5-star. I think I already said this, but I want to make sure I did. The next book I read was a graphic novel, and that was The Backstagers Volume 1. I really enjoyed this. This was also 5 stars. This was super cute and super queer and just adorable and kind of spooky in that kind of Scooby-Doo vibes. Genuinely just so cute, so good. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, 5 stars. The next book was the only book that has not gotten a 5 stars this month. I had a really good month reading, and that is After Love by Tanya Byrne. I've spoken about this on sprints and things like that. This book could have been spectacular, but the way it's marketed on the back of this book does not fit what the book is. So halfway through this book, we get the after, and essentially the book is about... This is about the way that this is marketed is their love is bigger than death, and one of them dies, becomes a reaper, and they have to like fight to love each other. And it talks about like a badass girl reaper clan, and what you get is half a contemporary. One of them becomes a reaper, and she now has to fight to hide a relationship that's not really there and pretend that she's okay with it. The Fierce Reaper girls, whilst I really enjoyed their characters, I don't feel as if I wanted like badass punk reapers, and what I got was like really cute girls who like I really enjoyed their characters, but it wasn't sold right. And I'm sorry if it's taken over half the book to get to what is promised to me on the back. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. I think this could have been done better. It's just a shame. It's just a shame. The next book I read was The Lamb by Lucy Rose. I don't know how to describe this book because it is horrifying. This was a 5-star. I do not think I will read this again, just because it's so unsettling and it's so disturbing and just creepy. If you want more explanation about this book, please go and watch the vlog that I did for Gem. This is... I don't know how you describe this book apart from so unsettling and so creepy and so weird. The final book that I read was Der Katzenprinz. This is, Der Katzenprinz and Other Zemnian Tales. This is a fairy tale book written by Liam O'Brien and illustrated by, let me tell you who it's illustrated by, Charlie Newt Borowski. Don't know who you are, but the art in this is actually stunning. I'll give you an example of it. Look at how beautiful that art is. It reminds me of like the old Ladybird books. Genuinely so good. Absolutely enjoyed this. This is based on two Zemnian stories that Liam O'Brien spoke about. One that he did in Campaign 2, Critical Role, and one he did in the narrative telephone joke that he did. And the third one, I don't know where it came from, but it was really, really cute. These are all, like, if you gave this to a child and went, oh, this is a new fairy tale, I think they would believe it. It was very, very reminiscent of it. It was very, very cute. It had all, like, the vibes of it. And the illustrations are stunning, absolutely incredible. So, so good. Also, just so shiny, gilded edges, and just a beautiful, beautiful book. So these are some of the books that I read, plus the other ones that I don't have here. But yeah, overall it was a 4.75 rating. The only one that brought it down was Afterlove. Again, apologies if you can hear that work. It's really frustrating. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books or if you plan to read any of these books. But yeah, I'm hoping to be back to do more videos. If there's anything that you would like to see from me, please let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye guys.